see Rick. All right. All right, everybody. We're gonna start our meeting for November 2025, the River City Arcs. I'm James, Alpha Echo 6 Juliet Golf. Tonight's a big night because it's election night, and we have a competitive ballot as always, and we'll go through the presentations. We'll get to the treasurer's report and the vice president's report, and then we'll have the election. Oh, we're also going to do some show and tell, and N6PGQ is going to poll you for what you would like to see in 2026 in terms of presentations. Phil has already arranged for us to have Ed Fong come to our January meeting. The illustrious Phil, oh, you meant the illustrious Ed Fong. The illustrious Edison Fong, is he going to talk about antennas or transmitters, or what's he going to talk about? He's going to talk about the UHF VHF 220 antenna. And I think people are trying to make 220 popular again. Why not? Okay, so that's for January, but you have to give an answer to Bob when he comes around asking you, what would you like to see as presentations in 2026, and what kind of activities would you like the club to do besides field day? We can't do that, Phil. So we have election night. Our next meeting is not a meeting. It's our holiday gathering at Brookfield. So the first Tuesday evening, a month or so from today in December 2nd, 4:30. It's an early dinner. And it'll work the same way as we have breakfast. You'll order on your own and have your own tab. So you can drink as much Pepsi or Coke as you want. Or if you want to get a beer, I suppose you can, or a muffin. But that's the plan for next month. So we will not be here next month. The holiday dinner at Brookfield's on Folsom Boulevard, not the one on Madison, the one on Folsom Boulevard at sunrise. Any questions about that? Hi, Tani. Sorry? First Tuesday at 4:30, and you are welcome. Brookfield's not on Madison. Brookfield's on Folsom in Rancho Cordova. And we'll also be asking for contributions for Weave and the toy drive like we do every year. So anything else on that, Carol?
Yeah, 4:30, I guess it's kind of like the social hour, so people can still drift in a little later if they have to come in a little later after work or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The other weekend, Bob N6PGQ mentored me in the CQ DX Worldwide SSB contest. And it was probably the first contest where I actually properly submitted a log, although it took 3 of us to get it done. And the propagation was amazing. And if you haven't been on the air recently, get on the air. There's a lot. All of a sudden, the propagation seems better. But that was a particularly good weekend, I think. Bob had, what, 400 contacts? Neil had 150? 72 countries. I had about 75, and because I'm not a real contester, I actually don't know the number of countries. But a lot of Russia and Asiatic Russia, Cuba, Finland, Iceland. I had Indonesia, a couple contacts 8,000 miles away on my hidden wire on the side yard. It's amazing on 100 watts. So I encourage you all to get involved in that. Is there anything else, Madam Vice President?
Introduction?
Okay, let's do introductions. All right.
Okay, shall I introduce myself? I'm Carol, Killer Pop for Mike Delta. I am your incumbent vice president. Also on the slate still as a candidate for re-election. And I'm also the ARL Pacific Division Vice Director here at your service and assisting with Kayla. Why don't I pass it over to Kayla here, who is our AV person.
Thank you, Carol. KA6YLA, I'm Kayla.
Thank you very much.
KF6 ABC, Bob.
K6 HTD, Walter.
Hi, I'm Bill, K6 KRQ.
I'm Tawny, still an unlicensed visitor.
Kilo Sierra 6 Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Sylvia. I am your treasurer and membership wrangler.
I'm Tom, Whiskey 6 Beautiful Sacramento.
I'm Bob, November 6th, Papa Golf, Quebec.
And Neil, Kilo Lima 7, Hotel Quebec Romeo.
Dave, KK6 MVJ.
Phil, KD6RM.
Wilson, November 6th, Echo Mike Foxtrot, and I'm a board member.
I'm Ken, KE6RMN, newsletter editor.
I'm Glenn, KM6 RGQ.
Gary, KG6SMX.
Mark, AG6FL.
And I'm Hank, K6HUH.
And Gert, Kilo 6, Zulu Golf Alpha, secretary.
All right, thanks. And online, let's start with Carl.
Carl, N6CKV, good evening.
Good evening, Carl. Mike?
This is Mike, N1YCN.
Hey, Mike, Hank has a 3D printed box for you for a VNA.
I know that. I'm have to get that.
Okay. And Rick, go ahead.
Kilo Mike 6, Mike Zulu Yankee, Rick.
Howdy.
Howdy. Good to see you, Rick. All right. A couple things. The other responsibility that I want to ask you to take on. Who? Well, are you there, Jim?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Your camera wasn't on, so I just assumed you were not there. Go ahead.
Here, we'll fix that momentarily.
Right.
Jim, KF6JF.
Good to see you. Thanks, Jim. All right. We need material for the newsletter that Ken puts together each month. So, as you share in the newsletter, photos, activities, other things, right? So Ken puts the newsletter together. How many of you read the newsletter? All right, that's 50%. We want to move that. We want to bring that up. We want to make the newsletter really a great way of conveying the club information and also have it become part of the historical record for the club. Because even with the website, websites aren't, they don't really retain information. And so a newsletter might be the best way to archive what we do. Before I go to Bob, are you ready for your, I'm going to go to the other Bob, KF6ABC. Here in a few weeks on a Saturday on November 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 3 hours, Bob is going to lead a parts putting together project. I'm not supposed to call it a kit.
and we'll call it a workshop to put together 3 circuits on a strip board, an LED flasher, a code practice oscillator, and a transmitter. So this single strip board will put out light and sound and RF CW signal. So anyway, that's what the kit will look like, and it'll be under $7. I thought it would be $5, but then the president put on tariffs on Asia, and the costs of shipping went sky high because they didn't want to change all the parts. They just kicked up the shipping by 575%. But anyway, there's an example if you want to see it later. And we'll solder this together. Last year, we put a couple of these circuits or 3 circuits together on a breadboard, and this time it's going to be soldered onto a strip board. It's called, I don't know of anybody that's doing much on strip boards, but that's my favorite way of doing boards, and you have a permanent circuit when you're done, you know. And this will be 3 circuits on one board. So anyway, that's it.
Less than $7. It'll be here. And you have space for how many? Okay, so 8 have already signed up. There's 4 spaces left. I think anybody that's interested in learning how circuits work should sign up for this. That includes you, Tawny. It is fun. N6na.org. Yeah. Okay, Madam Vice President and Pacific Vice Director. What else do we have? I think that's, well, right. Anything, I mean, in my head, anything that's not the treasurer's report or your report. All right. Is the treasurer ready to make her report? Don't worry, the money's fine. Don't. Madam Vice President, we'll call up from the email I think you sent earlier today.
I get to do that. All right. Once again, thanks so much to Wilson for helping me try and get the membership database together. We did a lot of work over the last couple months on that. So the roster status as of yesterday was that we have 142 active members and 3 expiring soon. And I think those will end up being moved to being active members. So that's 145 members. There was a little confusion because we sent out your membership is expiring to everyone. And then we sent out an email that said, oh no, don't worry about it, to those who are already paid. But so that made it a little confusing. And so we got in a few that ended up being applied to next year. And then there were a few that were listed as not being paid in 2024. So they think they were paying for 2025 and it got put back to 2024. So there are a few other things too, but that was generally.
a couple of years ago, when we moved to Ham Club Online, we had a rough transition, and we never got the accounting properly established with all the members and all the, because before Ham Club Online, we were giving you a 365-day membership from the day you signed up as a member, as opposed to having a membership that was January 1st through December 31st, or a typical calendar year membership. So we're finally, and it was a little rough, and thank you all for your patience, we finally have reconciled all the membership payments and membership time spans. Everybody is on a January 1st through December 31st membership, and we think we've cleaned up the roster. But if
most of it.
there was a lot of, it was a lot of work, and so thanks to Sylvia and Wilson, Jojo at KN6HTD got it started a few years ago. So, but I think we're there. So we've landed the plane.
Yeah, I see Jen.
Yeah.
Jen spent a lot of time on it too, looking through. She has a lot of notes. So we have one new member, Glenn Weatherspoon. Are you here? So welcome. If you see this later, welcome to the club. Thank you to David Minke and Lawrence Upjohn for your repeater fund donations. And so the award for the homebrew contest was membership awards. So first place was Bill, not here. Second was Neil. I did see Neil, I thought. And then the rookie was David Larson, is not here. All right, so I would like these people, so I'm gonna apply these awards to your membership account unless you talk to me or send me an email. So one thing you should do when you go into Ham Club Online, and I'm going to write up a little thing for the newsletter for it, is to check and see when you pay for something what the period it is that it's applying the money to. And I admit I did a few of them without checking that too. So that's one of those live and learn things. So, and then there are a few people I would like to talk to for various reasons. They're on the list up there. If any of you are here today, excuse me if I don't recognize you because I'm not that great at that. John Fisher, Michael Grunman, are you here, Michael? Michael comes very often. Michael Joseph, Charles Peavy, who as far as I know only came to Phil's last class, Rolf Schering, or Stuart Turner. So I have some questions or things that I want to make sure we're doing stuff the way you want us to with your membership dollars. So, and then the financial report, we have $5,618.98 in the general fund, and the repeater fund has $3,319.57. So the cost for the tower rental's not really the right word, but it fits, went up to $100 a month. So the repeater fund had and they actually gave us $100 credit. I'm not sure why. So they only charged us $1,100 this year. So that's pretty much why the repeater fund is so much less than it was before. So, and the notes are pretty much the same as they were last time because I've spent most of my time working on the membership list. The statement of information to the state of California it will get done very soon. And I'll call Bill and we'll get together to go over the account and processes and see if he has any recommendations. And repeater assets, still on the list. Google charges, still on the list. One thing, I was pretty sure in September that I had made an error in putting things into the spreadsheet, which is why I didn't send a membership report. And then I got COVID and there's a lot of stuff happened. So always before the balancing between the spreadsheets and what was in the bank, we always had more money in the account than was accounted for on the spreadsheet. This is the first month where we've had less money in the bank that was accounted for on the spreadsheet. So I will dig in and try and figure out what I didn't do last month that might account for that. So does it, all the well, no, all the checks are accounted for. So I've not been, so the worksheets were set up very nicely, but hello there, doing it for every single month separately. So I've been entering the stuff I haven't been entering it into the sub sheets that populate the tally sheet. So I've just been doing that by hand. So, and then this is what happens when you do stuff by hand, you make mistakes. So I need to figure out a way to make that better. And I'm sure Wilson will help me. So does anybody have any questions?
Sylvia, this is James. I do want to add that our expenses are going up. As Sylvia mentioned, the cost for leasing our space at the repeater tower is going up. We're likely to have maintenance costs. And also our two big expenses, really, our three big expenses are the repeater, this location, and field day. And we would also, but we do have, you saw the balance. If there are other events that you would like to do, out in the field, please let us know. Walter?
It's $360 a year, I think.
It went right. Yeah. It's a good question. Right. Yeah. Here, Phil.
I don't know how many of you had a chance to see what goes on with the treasurer rule, but it's a big task. Anybody that takes that job on has a big job. And I'm very thrilled to see Sylvia take this thing on. She's doing a great job. But it takes several hours a week to deal with all those issues as a treasurer. So we really should appreciate her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go ahead and do the website web resource report here. Let me okay. There it goes. Okay, this is the web report for this past month. See, I'm trying to, and okay, a little mention about November in radio history. I'd like to just go a little bit over something important that happened in history in amateur radio. Back in November 27th of 1923, which is 102 years ago, was the first transatlantic ham QSO, and that was between station 1MO, which is what at the ARL headquarters in Connecticut, and station 8AB in Nice, France. So this was done on, I believe, the 100-meter band. Yeah, it was a 100-meter band. And as you can see in the pictures there, they used deforest audions. That was the way they were able to do that. They had vacuum tubes to amplify the receive signal and to put out a nice clean CW signal on. So we were getting away from the spark gaps, and that really helped a lot with the efficiency of long distance transmissions. A reminder also to check your November QST. A lot of good articles in there. Those of you who are ARRL members, you receive this every month, and you should check it because it's still a very high quality journal. And those of you who are not members, I strongly encourage you to please join the league. I know we have a majority of members, ARRL members in our club. That's how we can maintain our league affiliation. Just the, yeah, the Pass the Bill is still, the campaign is still going strong. If you haven't sent your letters to your senators and representative, please go ahead and do that. A reminder about the November contest, November 1st to 3rd was the sweepstakes, the CW sweepstakes. This weekend is the Earth, Moon, Earth contest for the ARRL. November 15th to 17th is going to be the single sideband ARRL sweepstakes. And then the last weekend, November 29th to 30th, is the CQ Worldwide DX contest CW. And of course, you can always find more information about that on the contestcalendar.com website. Reminder that our website is n6na.org, and we try to keep that all up to date with the latest information. I want to put a shout out there to Ben Parrish, Kilo 6 Golf Echo Oscar, also Alan, K6AGW, myself, Carol, KP4MD, and Bill, N6HA, who participated in the Jamboree on the Air event for Cub Pack 53 over there at Cowan Park. And we had, I think it was about 20 scouts there with parents and all kinds of great activities. They had 2 HF stations. Bill, N6HA, was there with his satellite setup. We did a fox hunt with a hidden 2-meter transmitter, and we had Morse code stations thanks to Bob Woodward, N6PGQ, who loaned us his equipment. And you can see it on the front table there, the couple of the code practice oscillator stations and the worksheet that we use, which is we have courtesy of the W6SFM Club, Samuel F. Morse Amateur Radio Club. The kids absolutely go bonkers. They love Morse code, and it's really quite a draw for the young people. A reminder about upcoming events. November 15th is our, it's always the 3rd Saturday. It's our club breakfast at Brookfields on Madison Avenue, and that's going to be the last day for our Lila Frank Award nominations. We're still looking for those. If you have not, if you're a current member and you have not yet submitted a nomination for a person you think is worthy due to exceptional contributions to the club, there's a link on our webpage, and you can go ahead and go there online and submit your nomination. On November 15th, we will compile all the votes together, and we'll have a plaque ready for presentation at our holiday dinner meeting, which will be December 2nd. Reminder also, it's November 22nd is our second breakfast, also at the Brookfields on Folsom Boulevard. Now we have our board meeting on the 25th of November. And there again is the Lila Frank Recognition Award. And we've been doing this every single year since, I guess it's 2009 or 2008. So it's a very prestigious award, recognition for service. And we already talked about this. Maybe Dave wants to talk a little bit about this thing from his friend in the Philippines. I'm going to give him a microphone.
Thank you, Carol. Kiko was introduced to me by Jojo. And since Kiko and I have become very good, real on the air or anything, he's been helpful there, and I've been helpful to him. And what you see here is the Pinoy Link Digital Network, and it's at 4:30 Saturday afternoon here. So those people who've been on the a 40-meter net can just stick around and go online and choose any one of the several means of connecting. And it's just a simple check-in net, follows a very simple format after they get through the preliminaries. And it's a little different than we're used to. They call for people outside of the Philippines, and a lot of them are here in California, and then quite a few elsewhere. One was from London last month, or last week. And it's a fun net, and you're encouraged. I'm very much into taking ham radio and showing how important it is to the social sciences. We know it goes well with physics and some of the physical sciences, but having a lot of friends there in the Philippines, I see this as a wonderful way that we can connect regularly, and not over the air, not only over the air, but using the internet. I've got a rotor that I've cleaned up for Kiko to use, and it's being packed. And if you want to go to the next slide, please, Carol. That's the one on the Kenwood VGS one. There we go. Kiko is looking for the for a replacement. He's very active as a contester, and he is worn out the circuit board he has there, and he's looking for a replacement. It can be used because he wants to use it for calling CQ instead of burning out his voice. But I have some little handouts for both these things that if people are interested, they can see me. If somebody does come up with this particular card at a reasonable price, they can contact him. My wife and I are sending a whole bunch of stuff to the Philippines, as we usually do, to her family, and he's a frequent guest at our house there. And we can get this to him. One other thing that I noticed on our last trip, and I warn you, if you travel internationally, be sure to leave your cell phone in the airplane mode. That way the transmitter is not activated, or you risk a huge bill. If you haven't arranged for some type of international phone service, our recommendation is either to purchase a temporary SIM or eSIM for an existing phone, or take an old phone with you and have one of these put into your phone if you are going to use your phone without going through a modem or something, or a router. We're out about $1,000. I argued with Verizon. They just would not back down. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I spent about an hour and a half arguing with this guy. When I mentioned attorney, he shut off the phone. Okay. If anybody else has any questions, as I say, this is my experience as the Philippines. There's certainly many other countries. And it's a great way to take ham radio another step to actually meeting people. I was at a meeting of the DX1 ARM club at the University of Philippines in Diliman in July. I'll probably be on. I was online in October. I will be online this Sunday which is our Saturday here with them. And again, it's this international friendship, taking it a step further than just talking to somebody, particularly contesting where you're in and out. You get to actually know people.
Just to follow up on what he said, to try to do the more social contact, I do a lot of cruising, and a couple of times I have gone to the cruise director and said, I'm a ham operator. Can you set up some kind of schedule for unhosted get-together for amateur radio? And they've done a couple, and in one cruise we ended up with 10 people there from all over the place, and it was really enjoyable to do that. On the other hand, as far as the telephone, since I travel a lot with that, On the iPhone, you can just go and turn off roaming digital data off, and that take care of some of this problem because it can get really serious, like you said. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Just a reminder also that our nets are on Wednesday nights. The 8 p.m. is our 2-meter net. Then at 8:30 we have our 10-meter net. And at 9 p.m. we have our slow scan TV net, which is very well attended every Wednesday. And if you don't have capabilities of getting on there, you can watch us on YouTube because we live stream it on there. We have people that join us on live chat from all around the world. It's quite exciting. On the Saturday afternoons, we have our roundtable net. That's at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 7181 kilohertz lower sideband, and that is a very relaxed, casual that we just update each other on what's going on in our shacks, and it's all general. October nets, we had 257 total check-ins in our nets during the month of October, and you can see we add up all the check-ins we had for all our different nets, and they're all quite active. We're always open for new net control operators. If you're interested, just send us an email to contact@n6na.org. A reminder that our backup repeater net will be on November 19th, and that's the same 2-meter frequency pair, just the PL tone is different. It's 123 hertz, and that's our repeater on the west side of the valley that doesn't have All-Star or Echolink access, but it's got emergency power in case our main repeater goes down. We can activate that. Website activity for the month of October, we had a total of 897 page views, with the peak web page views were 68 on October 25th. The most visited web pages were our homepage, followed by our DIY radio page, which of course got a lot of views because of Bob Mix's program coming up with the solder strip board soldering class. Then our repeater page, as it was number 3, nets page was number 4, and then the general about us page was number 5. Most of our hits were directed to us by search engines such as Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo. 48% were there, and 41% came direct hits to our n6na.org. And most of our hits, again, were from the United States, followed by Poland, China, and Canada, Australia, Brazil, Taiwan, and all these other countries you see in a nice little colored map there. As far as our social media goes, the YouTube channel now has 632 subscribers, and we had 4,790 views of our videos last month. That was an increase of 3,843 since the previous month. And it's really unusual, but it's kind of unpredictable what happens with social media. Sometimes things go viral. And the things that did go viral big time this last month were the demonstration videos that Bob Mix shared for his strip board demonstrations. The demonstration of the transmitter, crystal control transmitter with the Belka receiver was 1,943 views. And then he showed it, the output on an oscilloscope, which was 1,608 views. I want to thank you very much, Bob Mix, for helping us to become viral. So that's kind of unpredictable. It's quite variable from month to month. Our Facebook page now has 1,175 followers, and our Facebook discussion group, 124 members. The Twitter page has 167 followers. That went up 1, and the Discord chat has 51 members, and that went up 1. And again, just a reminder to everyone that if you want to contact us, have any questions at all for the board of directors or any of the officers or in general about the club, you can send an email to contact@n6na.org, and we will direct it to the appropriate person and get you an answer. And that's my report. And I think we wanted to take a break before.
Let's just take a quick break before the election. Just like 4 minutes.
Okay, and there's some Halloween candies there if
Yeah.
anybody hasn't gone trick or treat yet.
All right. Let me look at my watch. 3, 2, 1. That's the end of the 4 minutes. All right. Thanks, you guys. All right. Well, the last official thing for tonight is our annual election. And Gert is going to be passing out ballots. I wrote these ballots myself, but I know this is going to be a fair election anyway. I don't know how we're going to do the, who's going to do the counting? She's not a visitor anymore. She's a member. She can vote. She just signed up. Congratulations, Tawny. I think Bob Mix has the gravitas to do the counting. No. You're not on the ballot. Okay, Walter and Bob will count. Gert's passing out the ballot. You'll need a pen to mark the ballot. While you're doing that, you know, I want to thank everybody who brought food tonight for the food closets that the temple collects food for. This is, as you guys are paying attention to the news, a particularly difficult time right now for people on SNAP and just the economy generally, and the food closets are going through their food, all of them. So really appreciate the contributions, you guys. All right, with that, I get one too.
We're still open for last minute nominations.
Microphone.
All right, while you guys are perusing your ballot, the board of River City RCARCS tries real hard to provide educational, interesting programs and activities for the members, but sometimes our brains run out of energy. And so what I'm going to do is go around the room, and James gave everybody a chance to think about this. So now that you have thought about it, I want everybody in here to give us an idea for a program or a presentation. And if you can't think of anything, think of something that we have done in the past that you'd like to do it over again. So here we go.
Also, are there any other nominations? We're still open for any people who want to nominate themselves for any of these positions. If so, please let us know.
I'm a big fan of the homebrew presentations.
Hey, Neil, homebrew presentations.
We do have a question online about the people joining us online, if they can also vote.
No.
No. We don't have a way of doing that. Sorry, we can't accommodate you.
That's okay.
Think of something you'd like to have at a meeting or an activity.
I'll pass. Can't think of anything offhand.
Okay. Next.
Just some mobile antennas.
Mobile antennas?
Yeah.
Mobile antennas, Neil.
Yeah. Mobile installation in vehicles where we've had before.
Hey,
What?
what would you suggest?
Oh, I think mobile antennas is a good thing.
Okay, another vote for mobile antennas.
Methods of mounting them.
Methods of mounting also.
Like wood frame. What's the question?
What do you want to see in a meeting or in an activity?
I would like to see a presentation where we educate our members on some standard test equipment that they may wish to have in their shack.
We haven't had a car show, for lack of any other name, where you show your mobile installations for the various different bands.
Neil. I just get, okay, mine was to have more fox hunt activity. I had not seen any. I just heard that there was one during the, when you went out to the Boy Scouts, but I had not seen, but more fox hunt activity, and primarily during field days. Also show my shack. I think that when we had that during the COVID, it was very good, maybe for rainy days, but it would be a good idea, you know, even a physical visit to shacks once in a while.
I have something on the back burner that I thought would be a good presentation. The ISS transmits slow scan TV that a lot of people have intercepted and receive at their house. But something that hasn't been talked about is that the ISS now has ham TV video equipment that people are now getting interested in, and there's a Discord chat channel that I joined, and that's as far as I've gotten to it, but I think that it would be an interesting presentation. Yes.
Yeah, I thought it would be nice to discuss how to run a net. So how to be net control for something like a 2-meter net, to encourage people to get out there and make themselves known and develop capabilities for running nets.
I don't know, there's, I have limited interest, you know, there's a lot of things I've never tried or even seen in operation. With the jamborees on the air, there's a fox hunt. I've never participated in a fox hunt. I'd like to know what goes into it.
Now he asks me. I just find myself thinking we all need to have opportunities to operate, you know, just so that we get more proficient at it, not necessarily just nets, but a little more of the refinement of operating, you know, how to, if you come into a net that's going on, how do you introduce yourself? When can you jump in? All of the niceties or politeness that goes with being a good operator.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think I'd like to see us go out more into the field, like going into a park, you know, doing some operating out in the field and maybe combine it with a picnic, which would be awesome. That'd be great.
K6YLA. I am in the perpetual setting up the new ham shack. And so I have a lot of equipment like SWR meters and transmatch. And I would like to know how to set them up. In other words, how the chain of, you know, goes from one machine to the next, how you get that signal from your antenna, you know, maximizing your signal by all these various things that one might have.
Okay, I got 2 suggestions. Suggestion number 1 would be presentation on POTA operations, antennas, and how to do it. And 2 would be club activity would be winter field day for the club.
I don't know if this is possible. I heard allusion to it on Newsline this week, but myself included, I find a lot of hams are interested in astronomy, but I'm having a hard time making a connection with astronomy and ham radio. Not like radio astronomy, that's like Caltech or MIT stuff, but if there's any way to do it, I'd like to see it.
What would you like to see in a meeting?
I'm very satisfied with the meetings. Espresso machine.
So to build on Gert's suggestion of more opportunities to operate, I would say we could do, instead of carpool karaoke, we can do carpool ham. So somebody can sit in my truck and get out on 2 meters as we drive to the meeting, or drive around and we can listen to PGQ saying listening, or Carol or James or somebody else. That might actually be kind of fun. Also, I second the fox hunt. I think that would be awesome.
Well, to follow up on Sylvia, I think what you're talking, a little bit more activity in the repeater would be nice for all of us to be monitoring and participate as we drive around town. That would be a good idea. Yeah, a lot of people listening, nobody talking. Yeah. Okay. Okay, one other idea is that it looks like the question of whether people read the monthly publication by Ken newsletter. Maybe we could have one night a month on the net that being read, and to have some kind coming from the president, from the club, instead of just checking in, having some kind once a month presentation on doing the net.
Okay, so I can't get out of this then. Couple things. Should probably, in my opinion, bring a HF radio and let people practice tuning in a station properly, so that when they talk to someone else, they will be on frequency. And the other one I thought of would be like an antenna shootout, where you bring your portable antenna and we put it all in a park or something like that and see which is the most effective.
Bob is very good at teaching how to go 5 up on a pile up, and learning how to use the split function on your radio, or the clarifier, sometimes called incremental tuning. That's a good idea, where we go out to, maybe we go out to Beals Point. There's a lot of room out there. You have to pay for parking if you don't have a state park pass, but it's $12. But that might be something to do, because there's a lot of good space a lot of covered space out there. I would like, I know we probably had one years ago, but maybe an update from the Buddy Poll folks. You think that's possible? Bud? Would that interest you guys? Yeah. I saw him at Pacificon. So, okay. Did everybody get a chance to comment? All right. We have a few ballots that were not filled out perfectly correctly. This reminds me of being a VE. And so we're doing our best. The counting folks over here are doing their best to try to do the right thing. Well, they checked the wrong box, hanging chads. And on the last one, it said pick 2, and there were 3 checks. So, no, that's okay. That's all right. There were no new nominations. So those wouldn't count. Yeah. So they're counting. Right. So, so the results will be good, but not perfect. If there's a real issue, if it gets close, then we do have a second set of ballots and we could try again. Stop the steal. It's election day all over the country. Yeah. We did.
Clever.
I like the idea. Would you guys be willing to go to someplace like Beals Point where you have to pay a little for parking to get in, but it's a good location? Would that, okay. Sylvia? There was a club at Beals Point on Sunday night? Okay, all right. I'm gonna go out there Saturday morning with Kishore to do a POTA activation. I've never done that. There, I did it in the Causeway once. I don't like that. So if anybody wants to come around 8 in the morning on Saturday and join me in KR6 RAO, or is it K6 or KR6? KR6 RAO. We're going to be out there doing antenna experimentations like Walter did today. Yes, but you can climb to top of Bob's tower and transmit as long as you're grounded. You know what was funny is that Bob and I were in touch during this SSB worldwide contest, and he has a 75-foot tower and 500 or 600 watts. And I did make a couple of the same long distance contacts that you did. It's the magic. What's that? 100 watts in a wire. But it also did make me realize that if I'm going to stick with this, I might need more power. The neighbors won't mind. I know.
Yeah, we have a couple of suggestions from in the chat here. To maybe a quick project or a way we can donate online to the food banks. Also, additional nano VNA projects. But I don't know, is there a way we can donate online to the food banks?
I don't know specifically about these food banks that are connected with the temple here. The information, their official names are on the website, n6a.org, Trellis Gardens, and the church. What is it? C.R. Arden Neighborhood Food Bank. No, but it's one box. You know, there are other food banks around, everything from Loaves and Fishes to Sacramento. There's several, so it's great. I appreciate the question.
At Pacificon this year, I was talking with Professor Dr. Edison Fong.
Edison Fong.
And he asked me if I would be willing to present something to the FARS group, the Foothill Amateur Radio Society. And I gave them an overview of our Nano VNA program. And they very well received it. They thought that was a pretty good deal. So you guys are the stars.
That's really great, Phil. Good, good. Does everybody know who Ed Fong is? No. He's a professor at Stanford. Why don't you explain? He's not a professor at Stanford.
Professor Dr. Edison Fong is an instructor at Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz. And what he does, it's a standard electronic engineering curriculum that he teaches. And he has a number of his students work on building those antennas that he sells. And he shared with me that he sold $5,000 worth of antennas at Pacificon this year. Which, by the way, is not a record for him. He sells quite a few of those antennas at Pacificon each year. And he pays those kids to build those antennas, which is kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, it is good, but they're only, that's a lot of units because they're not that expensive.
I think $50, $60, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Or 5,000 for one. Oh, Ed's antennas, and that's his daughter on his roof. So he's going to talk about the 220 base station antenna, Phil? Plus 220. Tri-band base antenna. This one? Okay. $75 comes with the PVC pipe. You know, that's a good antenna. It's actually wired through the pipe. Yeah. And he tunes them himself, or, I mean, the students, yeah. All right, how's the ballot counting going on? All right. So, Walter, you mentioned having a POTA presentation to the club, which I think is a great idea. Do you have anybody in mind to give that presentation? I think I could picture you and Alan and Kishore. Yeah. Right. Show how to use the website, the POTA app. Yeah. Okay. No, no glazing over. No. Okay. One of the guys in the Long Island CW club said yesterday, one of the instructors said that he just hit his 10,000th contact at a park that he's been activating for 3 years. 10,000 QSOs. That would seem to get boring, going to the same place every single time. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, the psychological part of it. Yeah.
Well, no, there's two parks that I know of in town where those historic trails go through, and you have to be on 100 feet on either side of the trail because it's not like all the other parks where they have a defined boundary around them and you have to be somewhere in that boundary along that trail. So Larchmont Park, and then East something park where the bocce court is. Do you know where that park is? East Portal. The East Portal has the California Trail going right through it, and Larchmont has both of them right along the dike. And so you can activate in those parks, and they're counted as POTA, even though you're not technically at a designated park because it's along the historic trail. Yeah, but I mean, that's a defined park. Yeah, these are trails that continually go. It's in the boundary of the park, which includes the bars. There's the Mississippi bar, I think, and like the one I was at today. And then the powerhouse is separate. That's a separate from Folsom. But yeah, signal report. That's all. Yeah, well, it has to be on public land. It can't be in like somebody's backyard because everybody needs to have access to it. I know this because the California Historic Trail goes right through my property in Nevada. I have a house in Nevada and a barn where my operating station is, and it literally goes right through the barn. And I said, can I just operate from there? And I emailed the POTA people, and they said, no, it's on private land. But the county road that's right adjacent to my property, I could set up on the shoulder of the road and operate there, and that's public land. I know. Well, I could still do it right on the side of the fence. I asked that too. I said, what if I have a tower, you know, and I just run the coax from the public land? And no, yeah, it's all got to be there.
It's a defined boundary. Yeah. So if you guys, if you haven't done it before, we don't have any bandpass filter. We have them in the trailer. Yeah. You have your own filters? Oh. Okay. Right. Okay. But we keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. It's nice to have them though, a bandpass filter and a notch filter if you're going to do more, or you could just all use one radio. That's done a lot. There's multi-ops and they just pass the mic back and forth.
Right.
So.
Okay. Any comments or questions? We're just waiting for the final tally. We might need a recount. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Okay, we're going to do the raffle drawing now.
Something to do while we're waiting for something to do. And I think just because I'm just going to reach in because you saw me mixing them, and I'll just pull one. Somebody here has a ticket with the number 15674 on it.
784?
784.
784. Phil.
You want to
All right.
you want a tiny essay?
They offered an DNA. They didn't have one.
Phil, you got some choices here, my friend. A tiny essay. A nano VNA. Do you know what this is?
I'll take the nano.
Oh,
I'll give it to somebody.
Okay. Wait,
Yeah,
is
when-
that the nano? Make sure that's the nano.
Yeah,
I think it is.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The nano's the small.
It
it's
could
funny.
have gone to a better person. You'll know what to do with it.
That's the nano. Yeah. Congratulations, Phil.
Yeah, way to go, Phil.
Well, at this point, the, they're still working on it. They're done. All right.
Want to just go with the quick results? The first four on the ballot. There was one ballot. Obviously, I won't know who it was, but there was one ballot that had the write-ins checked for 3 of the officer positions with blank names next to the write-ins, which doesn't really matter because we didn't have any nominations before the vote anyway. So that one was just, those didn't count. We didn't count those, that's all. And the other one was, we had one ballot where the BODs, all 4 were selected, like a write-in and all 3. So we just counted the first 2, I think, or something like that, yeah. But to be honest with you, those 2 discrepancies didn't have any significant, if there was any close calls or anything, they didn't change the outcome at all, so. Okay, so obviously the first 4 positions, the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary, there were no nominations. So all 4 of those were selected. That's the quick and dirty. And the BOD, the 2 winning selections were Neil and Bob, right? Bob Woodward, BW. Yep.
We're always looking for more support in the board meetings, which are the Tuesday before this meeting. So they'll basically the last Tuesday of each month at 7. 4th Tuesday of every month at 7, we have the board meeting. Anybody's welcome to attend. Just send a note to contact@n6na.org and we'll send you the link. Okay. Are there any other items for the meeting tonight that anybody would like to discuss? Oh, some show and tell. Let's do some show and tell, and then we'll close the meeting. Who has the show and tell? Were you showing and telling?
I think I gave a club presentation last year sometime on the HamClock, and I just thought I'd bring it in because I had it out today, and if anybody's curious, you're welcome to come by and take a look at it. It's a really tiny screen, like a 7-inch screen, but I haven't tinkered with it in a long time, but I just started it up. It's running on a Raspberry Pi version 4, and runs at about 2 gigahertz or 1-point-something gigahertz, and has built-in 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it's sitting on a 32 gigabyte micro SD card. But it also I don't want to move it too much because it's kind of janky. If you move it around too much, it'll some of the cables will become a little erratic. But yeah, well, basically, it can run off USB power, so it has lots of different capabilities. Some of the main things are you can put your call sign in it. It'll tell you what your call sign is. It has universal coordinated time, UTC time, very, very important. It can tell you about the weather conditions at your location. And it can also tell you a lot about the location to which you want to communicate, the DX. It can tell you the time there, the weather there, the date there, the local time, and the local weather, and I forgot the codes, but like we're in CM98. What do you call that? The grid square. the grid square information is there. There's lots of little panels that are adjustable or configurable that can tell you propagation predictions for all the different bands. Depends on what type of power you're using or what type of mode you're using, whether it's CW or single sideband. You can even configure the takeoff angle of your antenna system, whether it's a high angle or a low angle, and it uses all those parameters to help estimate what the propagation prediction will be from point A to point B. So that's kind of a summary. I mean, you know, there's a panel here where it'll also tell you maximum usable frequency. It will tell you the contests globally or locally, and there's just a lot of cool information. Well, there is no internal battery. There is a it runs on USB power, so 5-volt power, and you can run it off. Yeah, you can, whatever kind of USB or 5-volt source you have. At home, I have a 12-volt DC to 5-volt buck converter that I use to run it on my desktop 24/7, 365. But here I have it connected to a portable battery charger, and I'm just really tickled by it. It's impressive. It even has, right now I have it displayed where it shows the gray line. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's the boundary between where the sun shines and where the earth is dark, and along that U-shaped boundary is where you have special propagation conditions, right? Where your waves can travel in that duct there. But yeah, it I wonder if anybody knows.
Yeah, it's similar to Geocron. That's what you're saying. Yes. It's a freeware.
Yeah, and for those that run Linux, there's a Linux version that you can run on your desktop.
Yeah, the Geocron at ham radio output is ham radio outlet is several $100s. That's right, and this is a freeware that you could put onto a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, it's targeted for all sorts of operating systems and hardware. This is running on a Raspberry Pi. Well, the Raspberry Pi version 4, the newer versions have built-in Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi is on board. Some of the older versions, like the early models or the less expensive models of Raspberry Pi, you can plug a USB Wi-Fi dongle in there. But yeah, I'm running it off my my cell phone hotspot, so I've got a connection to the web from my cell phone.
But the time is wrong. It says it's 4:29 in the morning.
Well, it's 4:29 UTC. Yeah,
I know.
All right. Yeah, November 5th.
Not the right.
Yeah, we're
It's already tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, so for your local, for your
Yeah.
DE, it tells you that UTC -8. It tells you how many hours you are offset from UTC wherever you plug it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that and share it.
Thank
Anybody
you.
wants to tinker with it, it's over here to take a look at.
Yeah, come take a look. Anything else? And yeah.
I got this little tiny all band receiver. It's really small. And no, this is something that you it's got like I say, it's an all band receiver. I'll let you. It's the version 3. Yeah, I don't know about version 4. Oh yeah. No, this is a version 3, and Like I say, it does AM, FM, single sideband. Yeah, and it's a rotary encoder there. You push on the rotary encoder and it brings up a little menu there. That's, I mean, obviously you can hook it up to anything with a SMA connection. It's on FM right now, and it decodes the what do they call the broadcast digital with the name of the songs and stuff like that. But anyway, it's just a fun little thing to. That one was about $40. They start somewhere around $20 depending, and you can upgrade the firmware, and it's got a SI 4732 chip, which is the same as in that Quang Sheng HT that a lot of people hacked into making it all band, whatever you want to call it, transceiver. And it's got a ESP32, the WROM microcontroller in there. But anyway, there's a big DIY user community. They keep coming out with new versions of the software for it. I think the next thing they're going to do, hopefully I'll be able to flash it with one with a waterfall and a spectrum analyzer. People are having a lot of fun with this little thing.
Does it receive single sideband?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's single sideband, CW, AM,
Yeah.
FM.
Yep,
And
and
it-
the bandwidth and all that's selectable.
Like got bandwidth
Yeah.
filters, bandpass filters.
They're coming out with new features for that. I think they've got, I think it's 16 megabytes to do, for programming.
What's the full frequency range it covers?
I think it's from something like 50 kilohertz on up to, to be honest, I'm not sure what the high frequency end is.
Okay. Receives 2 meters?
Yes, oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So it's fun. Like I say, it's got a rotary encoder there. You push on it, it brings up a little menu, and you can. And it's got a built-in speaker or a headphone jack.
That is a cute toy.
Yeah, it is. Most of them, they refer to it as the radio chip that's in there.
Look at
It's a SI 4732. And I got it off of Amazon. Yeah. No. I suppose it is kind of an open source thing, so you could build it, or I don't know.
They were watching television, much
Somebody
like
could.
most of America was. It was a very odd situation
Yeah.
where you had a Department of Justice
That's the sound of the speaker coming out of it.
engaged with this investigation, and certainly not at the level and the intensity.
Pretty good.
Any other show and tell? Thank you very much. That's very cool. This show and tell is pretty interesting. I think we're all learning about stuff we didn't know about. That's kind of cool. All right. Anybody online? Anybody at home want to show anything? I see Carol's buddy stick on the balcony in Puerto Rico on the Zoom. All right. Rick, any questions? Rick on Zoom? No? Okay, good. Carl, anything? Jim left? Okay. All right. Anything else for the meeting tonight? So again, next month, we're going to meet at Brookfields on Folsom Boulevard. The January meeting back here, we'll have Ed Fong come and talk about a tri-band antenna, which should be pretty interesting. All right. It'll be, although all the information will be online, 4:30. 4:30.
Yeah, for the dinner
Yeah.
meeting, 4:30 at Brookfields on Folsom Boulevard.
Right.
December 2nd.
All right, everybody, have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thanks for your votes. Thanks to the vote counters. We already did it and Phil won. We would, we would have kept asking for, numbers if it was you guys. But I agree with you. They should be preserved for at least a year. Yeah.